Hey everybody, I'm Casey and you're watching Spiritual Transformation 101. So everybody grab your notebooks, grab your pencils, and your glasses, because we're about to get started. Okay, so to start off, what is spiritual transformation? Spiritual transformation is defined as you as yourself becoming more like Jesus Christ in everything that you do and everything that you say and the way that you behave and you act. Your actions reflect your inner character and where your heart is, especially when you're in a tough situation or when you're frustrated. And the things and the words that come out is what's in your heart. Not saying that that can't be changed, but it's hard sometimes to follow through with those things. So, spiritual transformation is becoming more like Christ. And I want to leave you with a few points as I go through this message about it. First of all, spiritual transformation overall, as we know, is becoming more like Christ. And the reason that is important is because as Christians, we want to be the most like Christ that we can to the people that we see and the non-Christians that we meet. This does not mean that you have to be perfect. And in many ways, the way that Jesus went about his life and the things that he did, it did not look perfect, though he was perfect in everything that he did. But dying on the cross and bleeding and, having your body up there seems very imperfect. But it was perfect because it's exactly what Christ needed us to do. So sometimes you may be looking at things from a different lens. But first, I want to talk about 2 points that I want you to have as a takeaway for this. First of all, spiritual transformation. A really good way that I've seen personally in my life that I've looked at it is that it's not asking, what can I do to grow? It's not about asking what I can do to grow. Am I growing? But what's stopping me from growing? Consider a house plant. I have many plants in my life, many plants in my possession. And as I leave it by the window, it grows. There's nothing that I do besides keep it out. Some of my plants aren't even by a window and they still grow and they're flourishing. But when they stop growing or when they're starting to have many dead leaves, I can look at the root of the problem. Funny. And I can see if I'm overwatering it, if I'm underwatering it, if it has too much sun, if it has too little sun. But in that same way, we can look at our life and our spiritual transformation and see what is happening and what we can do to continue our growth. Because we ourselves, we do not do the growing. The growing already happens in our lives and in the same way that we can see a houseplant growing without us necessarily doing anything is the same way that our spiritual transformation grows. So I want you to think about that the next time that you're thinking about, oh my gosh, what can I do to make this grow? It's not you that makes it grow, it's God. God makes it grow. But ask instead, what can I do? What's stopping me from letting it grow? What's stopping me from it happening? So, another thing that we can really think about is our dependence on God. As in spiritual transformation, as I was saying with the plant, it is not us that does the growing, but us merely putting ourselves in more optimal positions to grow and things that we can cut down on in our lives, like social media and different things that take out our mind from the things of God. And depending on Him is very important. That's my second takeaway. It's taking the next step without seeing it, which is all about faith. And faith can lead our lives if we let it. And it's relying on Him and not on yourself, especially when it comes to growth, because God does the growing. God sees you and He knows you and He grows you. And without Him, we wouldn't even have the plan at all of our spiritual transformation. But sometimes it can be hard thinking about how to grow your own spiritual transformation and having a lot of pressure on yourself. But one of the biggest and most important thing, it's my third takeaway, is that it doesn't depend on you. It depends on God. And that you can help that process. But you have to remember that if you're not relying on God, then it doesn't matter. And you can't grow without him because he does it. And that's arguably the most important part of a plant is how it grows. And we can't even do that. So I would urge you, please don't worry about it. But that's my Spiritual Transformation 101. Hit you guys back up in the new video. Check out the hyperlinks below. I'll see you next time.